think I've got it. Is your TV volume up?
Oh, no. Yeah, it's definitely working now.
God, we're a bunch of idiots. Put this over there.
Now we can just talk.
Maybe we should start over.
Should we?
I don't know.
It's already started.
Wait, so people are actually watching? How does Dan know about this?
Because Dan watches everything. He's like, he watches people for a living.
That's terrible. What do you mean he watches people for a living?
Just
Like on the street?
yeah. That's it. Okay, how should we start it?
Wait, can we see what people are... How do we see what people are saying about this thing?
We gotta go, I think, to YouTube.
Our quality is terrible. Did you mute us again?
Look, there's live chat there. Yeah, well, I don't want to hear it.
Oh, you muted the TV.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay, I just want to make sure our audio didn't like cut out again.
Okay.
Well, you're the interviewer. I'm not. I'm just some guy who figured out how to use this damn thing.
That's exactly right. We always need a guy to figure it out. Hey, Molly. Okay, we got Molly here as well. Rightio. So, I guess we're just going to get into talking to Mr. Camerino here. One of my greatest friends. I don't know. He's just moving to Moscow right now, so...
Not Russia.
No.
People don't know where Moscow, Idaho is.
They might know where it is.
Well, if they live around here, they do. Small town, about 80 miles from here. Wherever here is, people don't know where here is either. So.
A lot of people know. No, they know Rathdrum. Rathdrum's got a
Rathdrum?
It does have a pretty good
Rathdrum?
reputation, kind of across America, from what I hear.
Rathdrum?
Well, it was more because of the
There's
stuff that's going on right now, actually.
You're talking about Hayden. Hayden's where the white nationalist headquarters
Yeah, there was
were.
some in Rathdrum, though.
No. Hayden
The
is...
bad one was out towards Sandpoint.
Not Sandpoint. Hayden. Hayden is where the white nationalists are located. They at least were. They shut down their headquarters. You know, I rode a school bus every day by their headquarters growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it scary?
No, I never saw anything. I just saw the building. They shut the building down, but yeah, it was on my bus route growing up as a kid.
Insanity. Really?
Is your dog's head? Oh, it's just blocking me on the I was looking there and I'm like, my head's not even in the shot. So, but yeah, I had an hour bus ride every day, each way, going to school every morning.
What school was that?
I had K through 12 all the way. Well,
yeah, but
I mean, I started
the name
driving
of
when
the
I was
actual
like
school?
16. Hayden Meadows Elementary, Canfield Middle School, and Coeur d'Alene High School.
Really?
Can they hear us okay with the mic that
I don't
far
know.
away?
I don't know. Can you hear us?
I
Wait
don't
till
know.
someone says.
Who the
Dan
hell-
will tell us. Dan's always watching.
Dan's always watching. God damn it. Okay, well, anyways, so, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about me.
Well, I mean, what about your photography? Like, that's where that's where I reckon your greatest talent is, by far.
For now, well, I don't know about that. It's okay. Like, I enjoy doing it, but I had to move on.
How come?
For one, I want to have a family someday, so... And I don't think that's a sure shot for a career. I mean, if you're really good... I'm also kind of a... I'm kind of I'm not assertive enough to be someone who can market themselves. So like there's that too. And that's kind of a weakness I just know about myself. But I also I kind of I mean I did too much nightlife photography and it just wore me out. And I just one night I decided this is not what I wanted. Obviously there's more.
What about a change in the scenery though?
Well, sure. I mean, I love landscape photography. That's my favorite. Or architecture. Those are my two favorites, hands down. You know, no people involved.
What's your favorite Godzilla movie?
God damn, Dan!
What is that, more than one?
Oh, dude, Dan and I, we were hitting up the Godzilla at work like all day.
The old school
dude,
one. I guess there's 3 now.
Okay, no, dude, Dan knows. Dan knows there is like 20 different Godzilla movies.
So which one?
Dude, I haven't watched any of them.
What? Even the new one?
Okay, so Dan and I were at work together.
Matthew Broderick.
No, dude, I don't watch Godzilla.
Oh, that was a terribly good movie.
Just terribly good. Dan and I are at work, and he's flipping through the TV guide, and he's showing me this Godzilla movie. And he's like, look, Michael, Godzilla is on for more than 24 hours a day on this one channel. And he's scrolling through all the way through the next day. It's like Godzilla Strikes Back, Godzilla and the
Maybe it's off the
Mothra, Godzilla Returns. Like, it just goes on and on. And Godzilla never dies. Godzilla never sleeps. Dude, Godzilla is always there.
Like the ultimate being.
Dan knows. So anyways, that's Dan's joke. Like, he jokes about me with Godzilla all the time. But that's the only question we have. Dan's the only person watching this.
No, there was more people watching this for. Someone will ask something.
Oh, okay. Well,
but
so what were we talking about? So why did I decide to switch? Well, you know, you can't really. I'd like to have more impact on the world. You know, like I kind of at one point, like I just decided, well, how am I going to have the biggest impact on the world? And I don't think I could do it through photography. I mean, there are some photographers that like risk their lives for going to journalism. Sure,
yeah.
Like you can impact the world. You know, I wanted to like try something to where I could try to use the like potential in my brain.
Yeah,
you know, and I don't think photography was quite that field. I enjoy doing it, but you know, if I'm going to spend my whole life doing something, I want it to be worthwhile. At least something that can... You know, I don't want to sound altruistic or anything, but like I want to do something that contributes to society. Like something that can better other people's lives. I mean, and I'm plenty selfish, but like... But like, part of the game of life is to see what you can bring to the table.
Definitely. 100%.
Like, that's super important.
That's what I've learned in the last couple of months, especially after some shit I've gone through.
Like, what can you do for the rest of your country or the world?
Yeah, I definitely would say more the world. I mean, we all kind of work as just one.
Sure, depending on your
being.
Yeah. Well, and the world's getting smaller and smaller, so you know we're
too many people.
There are a lot of people, a lot of damn people on this.
Too much idiocracy. It's all coming true.
That's a really pessimistic view, Tom. Tommy, you're not supposed to be pessimistic anymore.
I'm not. I'm just repeating what I've heard.
Well, I didn't say that.
No. I'm just saying, in general, I've heard that it's going that way.
Too many people?
I guess it's kind of true. Dude, there's more people not knowing what they're doing, having babies in their ears. Like, they're too busy with careers and they're too busy with moving forward. Yeah, well, and that's what that movie was about. Well, I understand that, but I mean, it's actually happening.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like, right now.
A lot of people... The U.S., I don't know, I feel like a lot of the Western world, our populations are kind of... I mean, the U.S. is growing, but it's not growing like it was. The U.S. is kind of... It's stabilizing. Like, now, like, China and...
We do need a new plague, though.
In India.
That's what Jessica said. She said we need a new plague.
Who's that? Jessica who?
Jessica Christian.
Wait, she's watching this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She said we need a new plague. Yes and no. We are a parasite as well. I mean... We're parasites
See,
in
I don't
nature.
like that worldview. There's an argument for it's not.
Well, we're meant to be symbiotic, and we're not. We're not working with nature at the moment.
No,
we wouldn't be.
No, we're not. But we're human beings, and as far as we know, we're the most complicated organism in this universe. Which, unfortunately, with intelligence comes a lot of greed and needs, like to like satiate that.
Yeah.
So the parasitic analogy, I don't know. I don't like to think about it like that. But
well, it's just in the current situation. I mean, it's not that we want to be we obviously came here to work.
I think people will change eventually.
I do too.
Well, they'll have to, or else it's gonna all be for nothing, and it won't last.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, we're kind of, as they say, at a tipping point. We're at a tipping point. I don't think either another world war will happen. Eventually, something is gonna happen. But I'm not really versed on like.
What? What do you do on a first date? Dan wants to know.
I don't go on a lot of dates. I mean,
He's just a one and done man.
I go on my fair share of Tinder dates.
Tinder.
Some of them are successful. Some of them are not.
There's
this one story I have about this girl in an escalator. Did I ever tell you that story?
No, I gotta hear this one.
Okay, well, it's very sad. So I go on this Tinder date, and she does not look like she did in the pictures, for one, which is a common.
Catfish.
That is the bottom. No, that's really mean. But she did not look. She was misleading. The angles were wrong, or they were right on her side. But so we go on this date at the AMC in Spokane movie theater and at Riverfront Park, and we went to go up stairs because the movie theater is like 3 flights up, 3 stories up at the AMC.
Like PF Chang's and stuff.
She's like, I don't go on escalators.
Through them all.
I'm like, what do you mean you don't go on escalators? I think she's afraid of them stopping. So
elevator or escalator?
She's a bigger girl, and I think she was afraid that
she'd have to walk upstairs. That reminds me of Mitch Hedberg joke. There's what's that Mitch Hedberg joke? And he's like, how can you have out of order escalator? They're just stairs.
Oh yeah, I've heard that joke.
So good, it's well done.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Well, it is probably the only thing that does go out of order that you can still use.
Yeah. No, I'd never. That's so goddamn obvious that I would never even think about it.
It's just too in your face.
You can't. I can't.
Like a lot of the world, really.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, she wouldn't go up the escalator, and so we took the elevator, and fortunately, nothing bad happened. Anyways, I fell asleep in the movie. I was super. We saw Jurassic World, which I know Jessica Green likes that movie, but I got bored.
Does other Michael own any non-plaid shirts?
What?
Your other Michael, because that's Fenris's. Well,
wait, other Michael.
K. Scott. It's Fenris.
Wait, what is my? Wait,
it's Anastasia.
Oh,
she said, "Do you own any non-plaid shirts?" Apparently, you've got a bit of
no.
A plaid fetish.
I have. It's beyond a plaid fetish. Wait, she's watching this too?
Yeah, everyone's watching.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't understand why people are watching this. I did not think anybody'd be watching. Not because
No, it's dude. We just got to find a deeper connection.
Oh yeah,
someone's gonna spark it.
I have at least 8 plaid shirts that I wear. They're almost all long sleeve too, which everybody knows. It's like Michael never wears short sleeve shirts. He always wears the long sleeve, and they're always goddamn plaid.
That is true. I don't think I've ever seen you in anything for plaid.
Yeah, I mean I have t-shirts, but I use them as undershirts. I just, there's this. I think this is the style I'll die in. I think this is it.
You're already a teacher, man.
I don't think I'm gonna change.
Picket fence, fucking 2 kids.
I think this is it. You know, there's a
Costco card.
Seinfeld bit about that. How his parents, like, at one point they just choose what they're gonna wear and they just wear it for the rest of their life, and they're just stuck in that generation, and that's it. I don't need choices. Like, I don't like choosing. So it's like, oh, which plaid shirt am I going to wear today?
Which color?
That's the only choice. That's the only choice I have. I don't need to complicate my life with more clothing choices. Shirts. But yeah,
Seinfeld. He's already getting they're liking the Seinfeld stuff.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Seinfeld. I've watched through that series at least 4 times.
See, that's the same as my brother. I've never been able to get into it.
It's one of those shows you have to...
I love it, though, but I just can't
sit
down and watch it.
Oh, I know. Well, you have to follow... George is probably my favorite character because he's the most pathetic and selfish, and it represents Larry David, the writer of the show, one of the writers, and it was a really successful TV show. It was really popular. I think it's like one of the only really popular TV shows that I really like. Because usually I don't like, not to be like a hipster or anything, but a lot of popular TV shows I generally don't seem to like. The only gripe that I have with Seinfeld is I hate laugh tracks. But that was kind of just something that represented that era.
Laugh tracks like the beginning?
Well, no, like in general, like comedies that have laugh, like basically they put in a laugh track whenever someone cracks a joke. It's like, you know what, I don't really like being told when to laugh. Like, get that out of here.
Yeah, I guess I'm not.
But it's like one of those formulaic things that
it's like a background noise.
Sure, and they've been successful with it, but I honestly don't like. I like the awkward silence, and I like shows like The Office. They don't have laugh tracks, and I really love The Office. And but I like get to choose
American or the real one.
I've watched both. I've only watched I've watched the American one all the way through. Well, that's the most successful one. And I'm not saying the British one. Like, I think the British one's funny. Ricky Gervais is hilarious.
Have you seen the Australian Wilfred versus the American Wilfred?
No, I've only seen the American
one. Oh my god, you are missing out.
Is it good?
Oh yeah. The C-bomb is just everywhere. It's just cunt this, cunt that.
Oh yeah, well that's like
and
your
like dressed
that's like your bread and butter down there.
Yeah, I know. But still, like, it's totally... Oh, you have to see the Australian version. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'd be willing to watch it. Is it on any, like, major streaming services?
Not that I can find.
See,
you usually got to buy the DVDs or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Well, Blu-ray.
Or whatever, yeah, sure.
Buy the VCRs.
VHS. Well, so yeah. What's going on the... So wait, do we have 2 live streams going right now?
I don't know what these pretzels are.
Pretzels? Wait a second. So do we have a Facebook live stream
and are you gonna miss Best Buy?
Absolutely, I'm gonna miss Best Buy.
The people or the job though?
Both. I can honestly say both. Really? I mean, I'm not gonna miss... What I won't miss is being extremely busy. Like, I'm going to be busy, but at least I'm going to be more honed in on what I want to do.
Yep.
But I can honestly say I've worked there 7 years, and I still like my job there. Like, yeah, it has its ups and downs, but, like, Best Buy made me who I am today. Like, I've changed so much as a person since I started working there, and, you know, I would have never gotten it as far
peanut butter from earlier.
Far in life as I have without Best Buy's help. So.
Yeah.
I mean,
so why Moscow? Just the school?
It's okay. Well, I originally had bigger hopes and wanted to go to UW in Seattle, but I started working on a biomedical research project a year and a half ago, and the stars aligned, and I built rapport with the lab down there, and I ended up basing my decision off of the relationships that I built, and it's cheaper, and yeah, it's not as good of a school as UW. I don't even think I would have got into UW if I applied.
Really?
My GPA is not great. It's like a 3.4, which for an engineering degree, that's not bad, and you know, I had a lot on my plate, but it's not, you know, it's not a 3.8 or 3.9.
What do you want to do with the engineering though? What are you trying to change?
Well, I'm
gotta
going
be something
into the
wrong.
biological engineering department down there, and you know, I try to reserve that because people have they're super opinionated about that.
On biological?
Oh yeah, it's
Why?
like
In what
it's
way?
super controversial.
Because of religion?
Playing God.
Ah.
I mean, so yeah, when people ask me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going into engineering because I want to just avoid the whole spiel about
But you're
the
playing God every
ethic, the
day anyway.
ethics. Sure, I guess it's
Like
just
in your own
the.
perception. Like that's basically.
I mean,
what
there's
we're-
arguments.
you got up out of the way.
There's arguments on both sides of the fence as far as ethically what's right and wrong, but it'll be interesting.
Sorry.
What's your dog doing?
No, sorry. Dan was saying that you could make Mecha Godzilla.
Mega?
Mecha.
Oh, mecha. No, that's cybernetics. I'm not into that. Mecha
You know
Godzilla.
too much. Dan's not going to be able to outwit you.
How about biomedical engineering? Could make Godzilla like a prosthetic arm or something. If he'd be into that.
Ask the dog some questions. Molly, I don't even know what you ask a dog. I always talk to Molly. She always knows the answers. Hey, Molly.
It's the eyes.
Yeah, there you go.
She can steal part of the show. I mean,
Oh, she has to steal part of the show. Look at her. She's even got... Yeah, I know.
she's really cute.
I know. She acts more like a human. I
She's
swear
really
you can
nice.
talk to her.
I like her bandana. I love it when dogs wear bandanas.
Yep. She used to have a more manly one, but I guess for a girl she shouldn't have had that. She had like a super one, like a skateboard brand one.
Oh yeah.
But
See, if I had a dog, I'd put a bandana on it. Like,
oh yeah,
I dig
she
that
loves.
look.
She's loving the bandana. So anyway, so how are you gonna play God? Like what are you gonna influence?
Well, I don't.
Like I mean, what's your idea on God? Come on, tell me your religious ideas. Let's
know.
talk about Trump.
We're getting into
Let's talk about
the
Trump.
rape topics here. We're already getting into the rape. I hate the
But they're
rape.
the interesting ones. They're the
Oh,
ones
I
you gotta dive
know.
into.
And just to clarify, the word, I don't want to offend any people, but by rape I mean religion, abortion, politics, and economics. Those are the. So yeah, there's the first date. Going back to the first date, you avoid the rape, and you stick to the Ford. That's the acronym that everybody should live by, which is boring, but it's first date. So it's like first dates. Ford is family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. The boring topics. Well, dreams isn't too bad, but
Yeah, let's talk about the dreams. How do you get...
no, I don't want to talk about my dreams. That's even worse.
Why?
I don't
How
know
they
what
ever
I
gonna
want.
exist if
I don't
you're
know
not-
what I want yet. I don't know. I'm living my dream right now. Like I'm exactly where I want to be. I've never been this happy before.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I feel like I'm really happy right now. I mean, it might not show on my face, but
Oh no, it shows.
but pleasure and happiness are two different things. Yeah, my life's not full of pleasure by any means, but I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm happy with the decisions I'm making, and
Well, that's really all you've got in the end is the decision.
But yeah,
And
my
the
face
memories.
just might not show like I'm not like I don't have pleasure all the time. I think people confuse the two
Oh, definitely.
all the time.
Oh, you can see that in how they bastardize what love's meant to be.
Yeah.
Just like the difference between sex and
Oh sure.
actual
Yeah. Oh yeah.
relationship.
That's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Same idea.
which is sad.
I don't know. I feel like to be happy, you have to be responsible for things. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm starting to like gain a sense of responsibility with my life. So I'm more of a happy person. The more responsibilities I take on, I mean, yeah, there's a point where you don't want to give up too much of yourself because you'll just crush yourself. But the more responsibilities you take on, before
And
that
what's
plays
that
a
in contrast to?
like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I didn't really have any major goals.
Yeah.
I was just living and, you know, short-term. I had a lot of short-term happiness.
Yeah.
But nothing really long-term. So I guess I'm just kind of holding on to that future, which who knows, could be all in vain. I don't know. But I can tell you
Yeah, but it's worth trying to go for something.
Yeah, sure.
You never know what's going to happen along the way.
Sure.
It's just like this kind of thing. You never know who's listening. You never know what they're going to take.
I'm just trying to reduce the suffering of my future self, as I like to put it.
It's a good way to put it, though. That reminds me of Matthew McConaughey's
Oh, what does he
speech? How he's always chasing his hero, which is him in 10
years. Oh, yeah.
Which is a good way to look at it.
Oh, yeah.
If you're trying
to
be you in 10 years and you know what you want to be, that's the only problem. Is you got to know what you want to be at all times.
You got to practice what you want to become.
Exactly.
Like, that's a big deal.
And you
got to not practice what you don't want to become. Like, that's as much as
self-control. That's
like, if you have vices and addictions, like, don't practice those things, because you will just become them eventually.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. What about you? Why don't we talk about you now?
Ask me.
Let's see. Does Dan have any questions for Tom? Is Dan even watching still? I can't believe people are still watching.
Dogs have owners, cats have staff.
Who says that?
Matt McDougal.
Matt McDougal's watching?
Yeah. Everyone has a watch here and there.
Man, how many people are watching this thing?
Oh, you got to say hundreds. Just to make him...
Hundreds?
Just to make him feel better. Yeah, well, ask me anything. They're not asking. I was waiting for Dan. Does Michael miss the third and Birch House, and does Tom miss Australia?
Is that Anastasia?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. That house has a special place in my life. That place showed me how to live in poverty, like, big time. And that's, like, a super valuable
lesson
skill. Oh, yeah, I
did that.
I wouldn't trade living in poverty for the world. Like, because I grew up, I'm pretty fortunate how I grew up pretty well. I mean, my parents were never poor. And,
yep.
And I kind of got bored. Like, I wanted to go, like, seek out chaos. Like, my life was so orderly when I was a kid, and I wanted to live a chaotic life. There's too much order in it.
Yeah.
Like, and I wanted to seek it out, and that house basically represented that part of my life.
Just like a balance.
Chaos. No, not balance. It just all chaos.
A balance of being in order for so long.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Oh, yeah, like trying to weigh the scales out?
Yeah.
Sure. And now that house is gone, what you could look at that as if you are...
Actually destroyed.
Oh, yeah. It got bulldozed like 3 weeks ago.
Really?
Or no, it's been more than... It might have been like a month and a half ago. Anastasia knows. She lived there. Wait. Well, Michael lived there. I think Anastasia... Yeah, no, they both lived there.
She'll probably tell us. Poor rich boy.
Poor rich boy. Is that what she says?
What
I would never consider myself rich, but
that's... Even in itself, that like sentence is contradictory.
Oh, sure.
Poor rich boy.
Yeah, poor rich boy.
I love that.
Sure.
That's so good.
Maybe I'll write a book called that.
Only spend 10% on charity.
10?
If you had $1 million and had to spend it, but can only spend 10% on charity, Brewster Million style, how would you spend it?
Who says that?
Matt McDougal.
That's a really good question. Man, charity is not something I've thought about. Like, I know it's bad, but... Because I've always, like, right now I've kind of lived in the philosophy of being in my 20s, I shouldn't worry about being charitable because I need to work on myself to get to a point to where I can give back later in my life when I actually have money. So, like, I've never really thought about charity.
Yeah, but but what if the system's karmic? Like, what if each day is working towards going... Because that's what I'm all believe. I see the day repeating itself all the time now. Like, and I mean instantly. So, like, and I don't know if that's a thing that most people see or it's just after I have...
The day repeats itself? Like
Yeah,
Groundhog
like the
Day?
same situation. Like,
A good point. I want to answer Matt's question. If I could give it to charity,
so you give 10% to charity or the whole lot and you keep 10%?
is that what he's asking?
I don't know what
No,
Bruce's
I think
million
Matt's
is.
asking if I had $1 million and if I had $100,000, where would I put it in as far as charity?
Mm-hmm.
Well, 10%. So that's like tithing. If you're a religious person, you just give it to your church because if you trust your church, they're going to do good things with their money. Because that's in the Bible to tithe. God, part of me wants to I'd have to really research a charity or a foundation before I give $100,000. Like, part of me thinks what Melinda and Bill Gates are doing is good, but I don't know a lot about them. Some people don't support Melinda and Bill Gates at all. Like my dad, who's super conspiracy theorist, he thinks they're just evil people. I don't think that at all.
What in what way? Like I'm a bit
because he's paying for
conspiracy.
They're helping kids in Africa get vaccinated, and my dad's an anti-vaxxer, but he also
I don't agree with vaccination.
Right. So there's that. They're saving. I think Bill Gates and Melinda Gates are doing good things with their money. They're the most charitable rich people, for sure.
Yeah.
God, that's a hard question. I don't think I can answer it. Maybe I just give it among my friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say. What's your version of charity?
As of right now, well, for me, charity, I give.
Just throw
God,
off a
but
building.
the problem with giving it to friends is you have to choose. And that costs.
Well, you just.
I would give
evenly.
All of them. I don't know. You don't want to do that.
You just set up a party off Facebook or something.
Oh, just a free for all.
But just say who comes. Just say, hey, I'm.
Don't even
say. Just see if you can. You know what I mean? Instead of dodging it completely and missing out, why not just get there and see what the something? Nah, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I will I don't know. Give it to Anastasia.
Huh? Oh, is that what she says?
Childcare.
Huh?
I don't know.
Childcare?
I know they have a child, so.
Oh yeah, well that's important.
That's what you could put it down as though, so tax purposes.
If there was one facet of societal contribution I can make is childcare is up there.
Oh yeah,
childcare is extremely expensive, and I wouldn't mind seeing that money go to childcare. That's really, really important for the U.S. right now. Is that childcare is pretty damn expensive. I don't have a kid, so I don't know anything about it, but
it is expensive.
And I know there's state subsidies for lower income people, but I think it's still pretty damn hard.
So here's one. What do you the thoughts on how hard of a job being a mum is? Because there's different sides.
I think it's harder now than it ever has been.
Yeah.
Ever.
But do you accept it the Oprah way, where it's the hardest job in the world, staffing? And I'm saying this completely nonchalantly. I just want to know the answer. I'm not implying either way.
Sure.
Because I actually have an opinion. But
the hardest job in the world. No, I don't.
What would be harder than that?
You know why? Because I don't think it's the hardest job in the world, because your child gives you so much gratitude, that gives back. A child will give your life meaning, and it's hard, but some occupations where people are really underappreciated. I think a child, you're not going to find many situations where you're going to have completely unconditional love. That doesn't come around.
Yeah, but you're shaping a consciousness.
You're shaping a human being. which is
like really all a human being is everything it learnt from before. So you're the most important.
It's a task.
Well, the idea to like create a good person. For
I guess
this
you
generation.
could. Okay, you could correct that statement. How is it hard to create a good person? Anybody can raise a kid. Like,
well, yeah, well,
it's just whether they're going to become a shitty person
18,
or not.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's tough to raise a good kid. You have to introduce them to the world, and you kind of have to like be careful with what you. God, I haven't read.
Said it's not the hardest job in the world. I don't know.
I don't think it is. I think it's hard, but again, like mothers have so much.
Yeah, but what
purpose and they get so much from their children. Like, yeah, they can be a little shit sometimes, but like much out of having a kid. I'm not gonna have total meaning for my life until I have kids. Like, I don't think like I'll completely take care of myself and do everything right until I can completely be selfless for another kid. Like, to be for my kid. I don't think I'll care enough about myself unless I have kids.
See, that's how I feel basically now with Angelina. It's the same sort of thing when you actually find something that's. I
don't have that.
I think that's
I'm just
the whole...
running solo.
So. No, but I mean, I think that's the whole idea of this thing, is to live for someone else.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that, and this is just my opinion, and this is just after a lot of...
Well, you've been married.
Spiritual.
You've been married. I've never been married. So.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. Yeah.
I took a trial run. I like to compare my last year relationship it was like a lease. I got to lease a kid. I got to lease a mom for a year. Kind of try it out.
Kids are amazing and terrifying.
Is that what Anthony?
Oh no, Derek was like, he's saying a joke. Tile on a roof. I think it's Chris Porter or Tile on a roof. It might be Bill Burr. It was Bill Burr.
Mm.
Yeah, Tile on a roof.
I love Bill Burr.
Oh, he is the best.
He's so funny.
Some of the shit he says is just absolute truth.
Oh yeah, comedians are like the most honest people. Like, and I love how they can be offensive because, like, okay, I was telling you about that guy Jordan Peterson, right?
Yep.
He had this thing about comedians. He was saying like how if in a society if you ever see a society trying to start to censor comedians, then things are not going well, because comedians are one of the few people that only tell the truth.
Yeah.
Comedians, because they say the most offensive things, and there's so much truth to what they say.
But they're just saying it in a way that people don't have to believe.
Well, because people the fact that people laugh at what they're saying is ultimate truth. Like, you wouldn't laugh at something if you didn't think it was like true.
Well, I think the whole, it's funny. See, that's how I think. Like, I don't know if you've listened to much Terence McKenna.
I don't know who that is.
Terence McKenna.
No.
See, and that's where I was going back to, like, the balance between, like, us and nature is, like, I was listening to a thing he was talking about, and how, like, even just, like, people don't look back at, like cavemen, for example. Like, if you go back to then, before they actually had, like, proper conscious, like, speech, which is the only thing that splits us from the animals, really, is speech.
Speech?
Like, actual, like...
Well, that's a big tool, for sure.
Well, you just can't really have the same... You can't have the same system. You can't
speech
really create anything without speech. Like...
Well, yeah, you don't have order.
Yeah. Like, you can make things work, but you can't necessarily create new because of that. So I think speech has a lot more to do with actual... Like, when you really take the physical away, like, take all of this away, all we are is a bunch of thoughts in our head.
Sure.
That's all we are. So the speech is just the action of, like, creating that. So
that's a really good point. But the key, like, emphasis on the action, like...
Well, it's the intention of it. Like, I mean, if we didn't have any like, variation in tone or anything like that, and we just spoke exactly what we wanted to say all the time, but just with the same tone, it could only be the truth. It's really the movement of how you say it that, like, and there's a lot of times it's even like thinking of, you can't even know what you really look like.
a lot of hearts coming. How many people are watching this? Where are all these things coming from?
They're heading off because it's late. It is late though.
Yeah. Yeah, but all those that's a lot of smiley faces and like. Anyways, no, that's a really good point.
So it's weird to take the physical away from it. Like, that's what I've really been thinking about lately when it comes to life. And like, as much as it sucks, like, I don't advocate what they're necessarily doing, but these people that are talking about like gender, like how there's not really a gender, or there's like 78 genders.
Oh yeah, I don't agree with any of that.
But realistically, if you view the body as just a vehicle, like,
sure,
and all you are is what's in your head, like,
I can see that. That's a social constructivist view. I
know, but I'm just saying that if you look at it, we really don't have it. So in a way, they're right. But see, because there is a physical reality, you can't you can't exist in it.
You can't throw millions of years of biology out the window
just because of one way or another.
Like,
it's just how we design.
No, and I agree partly with this. So I mean, yeah, we are what's in our head, but there are huge. I mean, there is. They say that they're like, one of their arguments is that there's no correlation between sex and gender, which is like, that's just blatantly not true. Like.
Well, guys can, like, you mean like guys can disconnect from the.
Like
generally,
like there is a huge
from it where girls like get more emotionally connected to.
Oh, well, that too. Like well, that. No, I mean like male sex mainly identifies as a male gender, or female sex identifies as a female. Like,
oh yeah, see, that's a tough one. Because if you go back to if we're just the thoughts in our head,
right? Then you go to the social constructivism and like,
oh, we're only
societal.
Does that make you a girl?
You can't. I don't know.
Like, it's interesting when you think back.
Right,
like
it's a philosophical question.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's philosophical, but
because people love you, Mike.
Huh?
I don't know. People love you.
Me?
Yeah. Everyone knows that though. You're a good dude.
Yeah, I just wouldn't throw the millions of years of biology out the window. Like, that's what our society was built on, and I don't think that I don't know. I'm not really good at arguing that topic.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too hard to argue. Really. I mean, you gotta look at it both ways, and both ways aren't gonna agree. So maybe they should just put a new bathroom in everywhere and call it good.
The third option. Just the third option, bathroom.
That's it. Like,
what I don't understand is
everything. Like what? Or just put unisex bathrooms and fuck it. Like you just have to have them like a section that you close off.
It's like you got male, female. If you're not sure today, go into the middle. If you're not sure, then just head to
I feel like sitting down when I pee. I'm going to
the free, or whichever has the shorter line.
It gives you the freedom of just complete choice. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you think you are though. Like, what if you were just accidentally put in the wrong body? Like, what if...
Who put you there?
Well, no.
Accidentally put there. Like, what does that mean?
What if there was just a confusion? What if the balance was just so close, but there was a confusion?
Generally speaking, though...
What really makes... Like, realistically, it's logic and emotion that splits a girl and a guy. Really. Like, most girls are all emotional. So what if you're just so emotional that you're just like... That's what... It's all chemical and... It's like a chemical balance or imbalance, either way you want to say it.
Like from a neurochemical standpoint?
Yeah.
Generally speaking, though, if you have testicles or ovaries, your hormones will be at specific levels based on your glands in your body. Like, now if you're reaffirmed those ideas through like a socially constructed... Like, yeah, and I don't have I mean, I don't have any problem with that. But to say that there is no, like, to throw those traditions out the window, I think could be dangerous.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Because but who knows? I don't know what the future has in store. So, maybe it is all wrong. I'm one of those people, like, I'm never too sure of myself. I don't trust my own thoughts, like, most of the time. I'll, like, think about something and then I'll entertain that idea and I'm like, well, I don't know if I really trust my thoughts. So,
well, you just got to keep trying until it doesn't.
Which is a real
as long as
sad,
it has a positive effect.
Eh.
On something, on someone.
Yeah. I just try to acknowledge my own bias, like, all the time. I think that's super important.
Oh, definitely.
Like, yeah, I have my opinions, but, like, I really do try to acknowledge, like, hey, well... And it's so hard not to, like, fall into nihilism when you do that, because it's...
Chromosomes.
Huh? Yeah, chromosomes. That's a great point. Is it Matt McDougall?
No, that was Corey McDeed.
Corey McDeed. Right on, Corey. I totally agree. Chromosomes, I mean, that's the biggest correlation you have. Well, that's what I was saying. Most people that are male have male... identify with the male gender have male chromosomes.
Oh, yeah.
But, like,
that's all just in a physical, like, sense. Like, if you look at a more outer body, I'm talking like a more outer body.
But you can't use metaphysical as science. Like if you want to, you know what I mean?
It has to exist for science to exist by implication. Like, there is no reality without the unreal.
Yeah. But
Like,
then you look at
black without white.
Like it's too hard to get... If you get lost in those kind of thought patterns, you lose sight of the real world really quickly.
Yeah, but not
like, of what actually exists.
Yeah, but that would... Oh,
I get what you're saying.
But see, that's how I think now.
Danger.
Like, there's a lot more going on that we don't even... Like I noticed that... I don't know, even, like, hearing bits and pieces of a conversation are always, like, it's kind of like that question that goes back to if a tree fell in the forest.
Sure, yeah.
Like, does it make a sound? And it's kind of along those lines where, like...
Well, according to you, it doesn't, because there was no one here to hear it.
And like, without...
According to your logic.
Exactly.
I know.
And there isn't.
And to me, it does make a sound.
But if it isn't heard, how is there a sound? That's what I don't...
Depends on how you define the sound. That's the key.
But it has to be heard for it to be.
What is sound? What is sound?
Vibration.
There you go. So you're saying if no one's there to hear it, there's no vibrations?
Well, if no one detected the vibrations, did they ever exist?
They had to have.
How do you know that? There's no proof. You have to go back to science.
From an objective
now you're saying
standpoint.
the metaphysical side of it.
No, I'm not. I'm saying...
Well, you can't see vibration, though.
Not the metaphysical...
So it's outside the physical realm. That's what.
No, it is the physical realm. Vibrations.
It is, physical. But you can't see it. So without being there to actually notice it, like to feel it, which the vibration would be, the only way we can sense vibration in this exact. Other than, like, I believe subconsciously we do talk through vibration, but we can't control that, and we don't know it. That's just a situation that happens. There's no way you haven't had those situations where you go to text. You go to think about someone, and then all of a sudden they text you like sometimes.
I don't think anything of them. I really don't. I'm not spiritual at all. Like, see, I'm real. You're
this is interesting.
You're a spiritual guy. I'm not.
But all I'm saying,
not to saying I'm not, like,
if it doesn't have anything to hear it, how can it be heard?
Sure.
Like, if you ask...
Well, sure, okay, it wasn't heard, obviously.
Ask a deaf person what a tree falling sounds like. If they've never heard it, never made a sound.
Sure.
So they don't know the sound of that, so it was never heard.
That's like the existentialist point of view.
But it has to be viewed the same way. Even science is a religion, which is... like, you can go back as far as you want in science, and you're going to never get to, like, an actual answer. It's just another question.
Well, it depends on how much detail you want to look at. The more detail you look at, the fewer answers you find.
Exactly.
So, and that goes about what, like, I think we're getting really into some weird, like...
Yeah, it's good.
I don't know if people want to hear this stuff. Like, I think people...
That's what people need to
I
deal
don't
with.
know. I think people tune out at this point. But, like, yeah, you're getting into, like, truth. Like, what is truth? That's... And then really, like, again, if you go down that path with your mind, it's really easy to quickly lose sight of, like...
Not if you keep
what is truth, and then you can look at, like, pragmatists, and you could say, like, well, yeah, we may have a hard time on defining what truth is, but basically what's true enough to what works. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Truth has to be reciprocated though, like whether it be between nature and humans or just two humans. Like, you can't trust something without you being trusted. So there has to be some sort of connection.
I guess I'm thinking of a different kind of truth. Like what's real and what's not real.
But by definition, even if it's unreal, it's still a thing, so it is real. Like, it can't... Even the unreal is real,
well...
because it's still a thing, unless it's complete nothing. Which is what I think, basically, we are, an implication of nothing. We were space, and we just had to... We're the universe experiencing itself.
Right, that gets thrown around a lot. Like, I like to say that too.
No, I'm just saying, but
I
agree with it.
I agree with that.
That's I don't know. That's more Alan Watts and that sort of idea, and
that's like the pantheist standpoint. I think we've talked about pantheism.
I don't know.
No, we did once, and you looked it up, and you're like, oh yeah, I dig that. Like, I think I go around. I believe that. I mean, that whole idea of the universe experiencing itself. That's like.
Well, I reckon we're just 7.5 billion feelings in one giant. We're all experiencing it.
So you're saying everybody's one?
Has to be.
I disagree.
How?
Everyone's an individual.
Yeah, but we're just experiencing the same
Sure.
thing. If you went and looked at...
I don't think we're all connected like you think we are. But
definitely. There has to be a connection.
We disagree. I mean, we're connected because we're on the same path. And we all share this same space. But, like, the whole sixth sense kind of thing... I don't know, man.
So it's just always coincidence?
You can't back that. Like, you can't prove it.
Yeah, but if it's proved, like, and this goes back to trust. That's what I mean. If it's proof to me, so when I say, this is why people, like, I argue things and I'll say, I know this. And then people go, well, you don't know that. Well, no, you just don't believe it. If I know it in my world, if I'm my own God, I create my own perception. I do know it because it exists in my existence.
But you have to be aware of your own bias. That I don't know. Like, that's my biggest thing. Is like, if I think something like that, I'm like, well, wait a second. Did I really?
But what if? Think of it as we've already planned this. Like, we've already got this, and it's just that there's been a million plans. We just don't know which. It's just like reading those books that say,
it's
hey...
like parallel universes and stuff.
Which I reckon between here and the dream world, that is... I don't know.
I don't play around with those ideas because there's not enough, like, proof behind them. Like, they're fun to talk about, but I don't...
But even just having a day to live is an act of belief or faith or trust, because when you go to bed, all you're doing is trusting yourself that you'll wake up the next day.
Well, you've done it before.
I know.
It's extremely reproducible. Like,
I know, but
except for kids are terrified because they haven't lived enough.
You're still trusting it.
That you wake up in the morning.
Yeah. There is a more spiritual working to that, even though it's scientific as well, that you're going to wake up because you're shutting your brain off, you shut your conscious down. Like, what, like, you really think about that, you're diving into the darkness. People love sleep. I used to love sleep more before I had this fucking craziness happen.
I like sleep. I mean,
But what if you don't? Like, what if you thought harder? What if just everything if we are just our thoughts? What if everything we're thinking is just gonna happen eventually? It's just how much we think of it. How?
It can happen, but everything you think of will not. You practice what you become. You have to like, a thought is the beginning of
an action.
Sure, yeah, it's the beginning of an action. But
so wouldn't that be exactly what I'm saying?
Yeah, but not everything you think.
Well, obviously, because like you said,
because I try to shove some thoughts like down into the depths where they will never come back.
Yeah, but they're the ones you got to get rid of.
Oh, they're super important. If you're going to try to shove something down, there's obviously some...
But what if releasing it to the world is releasing the world back to you?
You can't control thoughts. You can control how you react to thoughts, but you can't control the thoughts. That's the weird thing about thinking and dreams, is like the thoughts that come into your head are things you already knew but you didn't know.
Yep.
Like, which doesn't even make sense.
Which you can't believe in the other stuff, but you know that.
It doesn't make sense. The fact that you can think of something that you didn't really know, but it was already in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. The paths are already set.
That's bizarre.
The paths are already set. You already know what you're going to be good at. You know, you've practiced these things since before you were even here. Like,
see, what if you're getting into weird...
What if we were placed here?
Yeah.
Just with already knowing exactly what we were going to be. And all we're doing is putting roadblocks in the way because we don't... See, this is where I lose my... I love the ideas behind religion, but I can't get on board with just one. I like them all. Buddhist maybe is the most because it really just teaches you to like know more about yourself, not really to worship anyone or anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's got to be more in the, like, when it comes to like actual, I don't know, how do I put it?
What, did it end? No, we're still going. But anyways, what is that? Oh, it's a video of you. Is that you?
Must have stopped.
No, it's going still. It's just that
it's just changing the video.
It shows that we're still going.
But what if, like, so like if you, looks like we lost it all. Oh no.
Wait, isn't there a time limit to how much you can live stream? Is that Facebook?
That one is.
Okay.
It's late anyway. No, but I'm just saying what I was going to say about basically about that is about it, like whether or not you believe it or not, it's untangible. Like you can't touch it. It's intangible. You can't.
Like, it's an idea.
Like you can't exactly.
Just like you can't touch an idea.
Yeah, you can't grab it.
But that's what it is.
So.
And to say
what's to say if we're not the God itself? Because what's the difference between believing in something that doesn't exist and believing something that does?
I agree with you there. Like,
so what if we'd already laid this path? What if we are?
See, that's where we lose each other.
See, what if we are God?
Just experience.
Like, what if we got sick of being able to control everything? And we just wanted to have an out of control experience that we knew we could come out. What if this is just literally? What if we come off the DMT trip and we just wake up and go, that was
it's possible.
Like 80 years in like a split second. Because time is relative.
The problem is like I try not to I don't think it's too productive for me to start thinking about things like that.
But see how
like it's fun to entertain those ideas, but
if you start listening and seeing the world come to you and you let go of those structural ideas, you let go of that control, and you actually
that's important though.
It's only important when you're given an option. Like the rest of it you can't control. Like you gotta wait. Like if you ask something and like so if you send a message and you don't get anything back, well then you just wait until that person gets back to you. Whether it comes back around in a message, a call, you run into them, doesn't matter. The perfect time to see them again or hear from them again will be when the question's answered. Because just like the tree and the sound and the falling forest and stuff like that, if you never heard back from your friend, how do you know they even exist anymore? Like if you never
they don't.
into them. Exactly. So it's the same thing.
I know what you're
so
saying.
The sound doesn't exist without it being heard.
To you. To you, it doesn't. Thing is, I'm talking about stepping outside of your own bias. Again, like I keep going back to that, but I think it's important to note that you are only you. But I know you think you're everybody, but like
you are, but in a different sense.
You're talking about meta. You're talking like meta. You're very. This whole conversation's meta.
Meta is better.
Meta is better. You should make a T-shirt that says that. Meta is better.
Meta is better. That's how I say it anyway.
I know.
BTA.
Australia. Better.
I don't know. I just think
people still watching this.
Yeah.
How are people still watching this?
I don't know.
That's great.
Yeah. They might be getting ideas. They're not really saying much. But that's all right. There's probably only a little bit.
They probably just have it on their computer and they're like in another
They're doing
room.
something. They're just saying what we're saying.
You got a picture of Einstein over there.
I know.
You got Coulomb's law over there. You got GMM over R squared, gravity, universal law of gravity.
That guy.
I can't really read much else.
That guy's awesome shit. See, and this is where it comes back to...
Dude, what's crazy in math, like, the more you look into math and physics, you find so many patterns everywhere. Like, it's crazy in the universe.
Oh, yeah.
How things behave. Like, gravity and electricity behave the exact same way. It's bizarre. Like, the gravitational constant, G, M...
What if they're the same thing, though? Because
well, sure, if you want to look...
is just energy.
It's a little... Well, you can't just simplify it like that, but I know what you're saying. Like, they found... They fall off the same way. Like, that's the point, is they're different things, but they, in a weird way, they have a parallel. Like, they behave... What
if they're each other's implication,
well, you can look
just in a physical way?
That's where, like, particle physics, like, comes into play. I don't know anything about particle physics, but
what if it's just more... What if it's simple? Like, what if it's just...
It is all simple.
No, but
it's
I mean,
really simple that we can't figure it out. Yeah.
But what if it's as simple as lightning being energy, gravity being attraction, and that's a simple matter? And I'm just saying, look at it very simply. It is really energy simple. Because you can... Yeah, exactly. Go right to base. Because it is an energy.
Well, everything is energy.
I know.
Literally everything is.
I understand that, but it's like... It's an energy that can travel. Because it's light.
But light is different than... See,
I'm just saying very basic. What if it's a metaphor for us? Like, what we are... Because we are, like, based around a lot of electricity. And what if that's our attraction to, like, someone else? Like, going back to the subconscious connection.
I mean, you can't measure it. Which is the...
Doesn't mean it's not real.
I know it doesn't mean it's not real.
There's plenty we don't even know yet.
I know.
How crazy do you reckon that guy was? Like, when he came out and said all this shit. And like, it's funny, we look back now and we're just like, oh, gravity is just something that everyone told...
I just get so in la la land with some of those ideas. I know.
Because I have no idea I have no idea which one of those things is gravity.
Sure.
Like, I got no idea, but I have a belief. Like, what if it's just the belief that keeps us alive?
All you have to do is believe in the scientific method. That's it. And then if you believe in that, then...
It's even more simple than that. It's just literally the belief. What if science is a byproduct of belief?
Well, it is. That's what it is. It all is. It all started with philosophy and then it branched out.
Exactly.
Philosophy was the first science.
So what if it's as simple as literally thinking and doing? I think therefore I am.
I know.
But what if it really is? You just practice.
I hate just making generalizations like that. Like,
what if
I just don't do it?
Exactly.
I don't do it.
And how many people don't? And what if it's that simple? Because I've lived my life that simple the last 3 months, and it's gone.
Well, no, it's good for you.
In 5-6 years.
So it's good for you and how you perceive your life. But I'm not going to base like.
But what if you're forcing options? What if they're not good? Like I believe you're making all the right choices right now, but I'm just saying, what if you're forcing
Sure.
options instead of letting it go and come to you and make the decision and weighing up doesn't make sense? Because that's all we're doing. We're just here to make
I
sense
do
of it.
that.
Like, we're just here to sense ourselves. I reckon we're working on a miracle, an impossible implication, like something that doesn't exist. It's unexplainable, which is like a miracle.
Yeah.
So what if it's just an impossible implication of all we want to do is see how we sound? Something that you can't grasp in the physical. You can't see sound, yet you can feel it through vibration. So the only thing we're here to do is feel things.
Well, no, you don't feel sound. I mean, you hear it.
You feel vibration.
Yeah.
You don't. Yeah, exactly.
It's just like your brain. It's the same thing, though.
But what if you feel?
You're just using different neurons in your body to feel it.
But what if
your eyes are feeling it too?
I know.
They're just feeling it in a different way.
I understand that. So it's all just belief and feelings.
Well, yeah, you're limited.
There is no science.
You're limited to your whatever the hell.
You're not limited. That's what I'm saying.
You are limited. No, you are, and it's dangerous to think that you're unlimited. I know you like to go that.
But it's
you are limited to your five senses.
An omnipotent style of unlimited. I'm talking about the possibilities. The options are unlimited to be thrown in front of you. What if you're not making the right choices?
What? Yeah. What if you're not making the right? I want to throw that. Yeah. What if you're not making the right choices?
Well, then you look at the lives and you see who's happy. Because the ultimate goal.
I told you I was happy.
And what did I say before? I said you're on the right. I said
and you're like, this guy's not really happy. No. He's just lying. He's not really that happy.
No, I said that I think you're making all the right choices. I already said that. So I already told you you're on the same path.
But you don't think I'm happy.
No, I do think you're happy. I was saying that as a generalization. You took offense. I believe that by you feeling guilt, you prove that you aren't happy as you think you are.
What do you mean I feel guilt?
I think.
What do you mean? It's important to feel guilt.
It is, but you felt that me just saying a general statement. I
don't feel guilty.
But I said, what if you made the wrong choices? And you said, well, what if you made the wrong choice? I was just saying that as a generalization.
Right, I was just playing devil's advocate.
Exactly. So you felt the vibration. You felt it. See? It's proving it right in front of you.
No, it's not.
It is.
It is not proving it right in front of me.
It is.
What do you mean?
Well,
I don't understand what you mean by that. Feeling is just whatever comes through any of my five senses.
But you had a reaction because of that feeling when I was saying it completely with nothing. So by you showing a reaction, has that not proven that?
We've been reacting this whole hour.
Yeah, but the way that you reacted.
But see,
what were you reacting to me and just saying it straight back in your face?
Because I wanted to say it. Because you're asking me all these open-ended questions, but I'm not asking you. It's hard to keep the conversation grounded with questions like that.
Exactly, because eventually you get to a question you can't answer, and that's the total truth.
Right, but then you can only be so productive with that. Too much information is... You lose... It has no utility. Eventually, the point where you get to the point where you're asking all these open... and it's important... Again, I'm not saying it's not important to ask questions, but... I don't know how to explain what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, look, if you ask someone who has a real problem, why enough? You keep asking why?
Yeah, kids do that, and it's annoying as hell.
Exactly, but it has... If they answered truthfully the first time...
Yeah, they're like little philosophers.
Or if you kept saying... They are.
They are.
Because they just asked the question.
Why?
Exactly, because eventually you just break down and you go, fucking because of this.
Well, no, and then... Exactly, then they say, because I said so. When my mom said that growing up as a kid, I always hated it. Anytime my mom or dad would say, because I said so, I would just say... Pfft.
All that meant was they were telling you they didn't know.
Yeah, or they just didn't want to explain. They didn't feel like they had the time to actually explain it. Which, in some sense as an adult, I kind of see that now. But I just hated it. Me as a parent, I will try my best to never ever say those words. Because I said so.
Yeah, always explain.
It's terrible.
But that's what I mean. You get to an ultimate truth eventually.
But eventually,
keep
like,
asking why.
I don't know, as a parent, you get so worn out, like...
You run out of words. We're just a bunch of dictionaries talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't understand the things I was saying, then we would have no more conversation to have.
Language is...
Language controls literally everything.
Yeah, it was the control of information. What was that? There's a bright, like, okay, well, I listen to this. Everybody knows I listen to Bright Eyes a lot. And I've been listening to them for like a year. And there's this one quote. And it's probably not even them. But language just happened, it was never planned. And I think that's totally true.
Well, see, that's where it goes back to one of the things.
Oh, you think it was planned? Language just happened.
It was always...
It came about organically.
It was always going to happen. But how it means organically would have been... What I think would have happened would have been someone that couldn't communicate. And this is where the spiritual and the scientific meet. Is that it would have had to have been through some sort of ingestion of like mushrooms or something psychedelic. It has to change thinking like that. It can't just straight evolve something. It has to change to react to that.
Why?
It has to. There has to always be implication.
No, some person...
There has to be an opposite. We can't have everything if there's not nothing.
Who made a sound at one point...
So why don't animals talk then?
Because they never... For one, they don't have the vocal range we have, but... Well, that's like the whole idea of natural selection. Like, that's just...
But who's to say? Who's to say the burning bush in Abraham's 10 Commandments wasn't him just sitting there fucking smoking?
Oh, I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that at all. Like, I think that's probably true. What you're saying.
What's to say that that's not how...
I'm just saying language... I don't think it was necessarily a hallucination. Like, I think it could have came about that. Because there has to be something. If there's utility in something... And it contributes to the prosperity of humankind, it is likely to succeed. And if someone randomly... I mean, animals communicate other ways, but
yeah, they do. Through vibration, through feeling.
Feeling is such a... You can't just throw that word out there. Like, because there's no... You can't look at it at a different level of analysis. I mean, you... Like it's like one. You're looking at it like one level of analysis, like feeling. Like what is it? What defines a feeling? Or like what?
Something that you react to.
Yeah, it's so dogs, they can smell things. They just have higher concentration of neuroreceptors in places we don't. Like that's what the feeling is that you're talking about. Like it's not some meta thing. It's just something that we as humans can't perceive, but to a dog it's normal. Like it's not some meta like...
What if you just haven't trained yourself yet?
You can't just like keep asking that. Like it's the same thing. Like trained yourself yet? Because you can't. You're biologically incapable.
We evolved.
Yeah, over a long time. And again, some of our viewers might not believe in that, but I mean, I don't know. I believe in that, but because some people don't believe in evolution, and I have respect for people and their beliefs, but
the Tower of Babel,
huh?
The Tower of Babel.
Yeah, I mean, the Tower of Babel's an interesting story. But
what is the time?
It's probably getting pretty late.
Yep. Oh shit, it's 12 o'clock. Yeah, I gotta go to bed.
Well, I guess that's it then.
I guess that is it.
That's all she wrote.